Good evening, and welcome to Dan Bain's Sleepy Time Mumbles, a podcast you can miss. I am Dan Bain, and every episode I improvise a low-stakes podcast for you to fall asleep to. Ever since I resurrected the dormant beast that is Sleepy Time Mumbles and gave myself a much more manageable schedule, I've not only been much more excited to sit down and record an episode, but I actually have ended up making more content than I committed to in my initial planning. I'm sure there is some message or learning or important lesson to be found in that, but it remains out of grasp for me at the moment. If you're a current listener, you'll probably know that I made a decision to never insert advertising into the show. I don't really trust auto-insert mid-roll or pre-roll or post-roll to come in with a volume or an energy that is going to match where you're at in falling asleep. I can't think of anything worse than being almost asleep and then being woken up by an advertisement for a mattress. Not only does that seem unfair, but also too many layers of irony. And I think that any income from advertising would do the show more harm than good. Unfortunately, the show does cost me money to make, both in time and in hosting costs. And that's why I'd like to take this time to specifically thank those of you who have taken up a subscription to the show. That's right, there is now the option to subscribe to the show. If you are a particularly astute listener, you may have noticed the earliest episodes of the show are no longer available. They are now reserved for subscribers. I'll always keep 50 episodes available and free for anyone and everyone. But with every new episode released, one at the other end of the feed will be added to the subscriber-only library. I think this is fair. And it's one of the only ways I can think of that adds value to subscribers without penalising long-time listeners. So if you're a super fan of the show and have a couple of dollars spare a month, you can subscribe from as low as $3. That's $3, not our worthless New Zealand dollars. Will I add more benefits as time goes on? I don't know, maybe. But right now, your $3 gets you complete access to the entire library and the heartfelt satisfaction of knowing that you are supporting an independent artist and podcaster to make something both very stupid and bafflingly popular. If you listened to the recent episode, Statistical Breakdown and Data Analysis, you'll know there's a lot of you out there. Just 1% of listeners subscribing at the minimum amount would mean I'd immediately stop losing money on the show and slowly start recouping costs from the last 4 years. Just 10% of listeners subscribing at the minimum rate would mean I'd be able to pay myself a modest hourly rate for the time I spend working on the show. If 100% of listeners subscribe, I am crowned winner of the internet. I become Sleep, Destroyer of Worlds, and I get a crown. As always, if you'd love to help out but you're broke, I know how that feels. No hard feelings. I hope things get better. If you want to throw me 5 golden stars and a positive review on Apple Podcast, that's a super easy way to be genuinely supportive without having to spend any of your hard-earned dollars. But yeah, if you love the show, you want access to everything, you desperately need to listen to that episode. You know the one that you can't get no more. Have a think about joining the Sleepy VIP. You can cancel any time, so don't feel like you're being locked in for a year. Thanks. I know that kind of pitches for cash are kind of gauche. I'll try and keep them to a minimum. Either way, right now, well, that can wait. For now, put down your phone, turn off your screens, close your eyes. Now it's time to be mumbled to sleep. Season 4, Episode 8. Your mind is an electronics store after hours. Hello, and welcome to this guided meditation. Your mind is an electronics store after hours. Picture your mind as such. Picture first of all the entirety of the store. Do not attempt to look at the details of the individual items within the store. Instead, concentrate on the store as a whole. What type of electronics store is it? Is it a JB Hi-Fi? Is it a Dick Smith Electronics? Is it an electronics store from your past? A Radio Shack? Perhaps it is an electronics store that you are familiar with. Maybe one that you have visited many times for components, appliances, devices. Or maybe it's somewhere you just went in one time, begrudgingly, to buy a present. Is this a familiar environment to you? Or is it unfamiliar? Either way, it doesn't matter, because there is no activity. A store that might, at the peak of the day, be bustling and full of people, browsing multiple chirping electronics, filled with flashing LEDs and bright television screens with the motion smoothing dialed up to maximum. Not now. Not now. The screens are dark. The flashing has halted. The doors are locked. The bars have been pulled. The grills have been shut. The customers are gone. The staff is gone. This is an electronics store after hours. Your mind is this electronics store. Certainly, at times busy, at times overwhelming, but not now. For now everything has been switched off at the wall, if it is able to be switched off at the wall. If switching it off at the wall is the responsible way to shut it down, then that is what has happened. But if it requires a specific shutdown process, if it's imperative to the working life of the device that it not experience a hard reset, then no, it has not been switched off at the wall, but rather the correct process has been adhered to. By the door, where usually a glowing display would advertise Samsung mobile telephones running Android operating systems with 256 gigabits of storage, with folding screens and megapixel cameras. Now the display is turned off. The lights are dimmed. The phones in their demo modes, where you're able to touch the screen and see how it might feel tactilely to swipe and tap at it. Now they are dimmed. Everything is turned off. For this is the electronics store after hours. To your left, racks and racks, shelves and shelves, boxes and boxes of different types of headphones, be they earbuds or over the ear, whether they cancel noise or whether they close the world out from around you. The active noise cancelling, the turbo bass boost, the Bluetooth or wired connectivity, the garish patterns, the plain colours, all of them hang there in the dark. No noise plays from the demos. Should you try to connect to them, you would fail, for no noise can come through them, be it wired or wireless, because everything has been turned off and shut down. This is the electronics store after hours. your mind is the electronics store after hours. Head now up the stairs, past the dangling rack of iTunes gift cards, and next to them the PlayStation Network cards, and also whatever the Xbox equivalent is. It's vouchers in plastic credit card form for buying your add-ins in Fortnite and Player Unlimited Battleground, PUBG. Is that what that stands for? I don't really know. I'm not a battle royale kind of guy, and neither are you, 'cause everything that could battle royale has been switched off. You reach the top of the stairs, those stairs that through the day the LED fiber lights that have been installed on the steps would usually be flashing in sequence, running a multicolour chase from left to right. But not this evening. This evening the store is closed. It's after hours, and we're all trying to save electricity. After all, I don't know if you've seen the economy, but good gracious, we could all, even the best of us, spend a little less. As you reach the top of the stairs, to your right, you see a rack of GoPro action cam accessories. These are just as they would be through the day. They're in a glass cabinet. Nothing is turned on, and everything is in a box. These things are too expensive for you to get your grubby little mitts on. They are just there for people who have already made their minds up. It's the kind of product that no amount of flashing light is going to entice you. You're more interested in, does it shoot 60 frames per second, and Is it true 360-degree filming? Or is it only a front-facing camera? To your left, though, laptops. Rows upon rows of them. From the utilitarian grey through to black neon flashed alien wear. Through the day, every screen would be screaming out with its maximum number of pixels, irrespective of whether that display setting would overly tax the internal components. But not now. No. All of them, irrespective of screen size or resolution, each and every one, the screen is dark. Backlit keyboards are no longer backlit, but also dark. These devices have been specifically shut off by going to the Start menu and selecting Shut Down. Everything is quiet. Everything is turned off, just like your mind, which is an electronics store after dark. Behind them, behind these rows of open black screen laptops, printers. Printers are never plugged in a shop. What if someone decided to print something after all? So as they are through the day, so they are through the night, silent, inoperative. Indeed, these printers themselves are the display models, and perhaps will never be operative. Their very function never lived up to. Behind them, behold the walls of televisions, with all their inches and their smart features, their internet connectivity and their HDMI ports. All quiet, all dark. Not for now, the blackest black of the plasma, the LED, UHD with the ultra high definition, the 8K, 32K, 4K, all the Ks, the surround sound, and the wraparound screen. None of these matter now, for the store is dark. The lights are out. Even the blinking LEDs of the vampire power. You know, the power what they use to keep the devices in standby. Even those are shut down. Everything is turned off. Everything is dark. Everything is quiet. Your mind is an electronic store after hours. That was Season 4, Episode 8 of Sleepy Time Mumbles. Sleepy Time Mumbles is produced by Nost Octopus and created and presented by me, Dan Bain. You can follow the show many ways, with many clickable links, all of which are in the show notes. But until next time,